you. This is a huge day for us at Goodwill, and as you can imagine, no organization gets to a point like we have today without many people who have stepped up to be a part of this work, who've supported us, who've championed us, who've been allies and advocates for this work in many different ways. And today, we want to set aside time to recognize all of them. It's going to be a beautiful day where we will hear from our dignitaries, we will hear from some of our partners, we'll hear and celebrate our donors. But before we move too far along on the agenda, recognizing and celebrating those who've contributed in an earthly way, we want to invite our Goodwill full-time chaplain, Rob Moore, to join us on stage for a special thank you.
Peace and blessings, everyone. It's a wonderful day to be here today. As Devon just mentioned, this is a place of hope. To see West Louisville, for me that grew up not too far from here. Just very briefly, just to share a quick testimony. Many years ago, and I was sharing with Devon yesterday, when my stepfather, the man who raised me, got laid off right now in an old factory called Strylinkoff, right on, I think, 11th or 12th and Broadway. Ended up getting a job here from the old factory as a janitor. And now for his son to be here and to bless this building, it speaks volumes. As Devon did mention that this is a place of hope, as I would like to use my acronym as hope as healing, opportunity, purpose, purpose, and empowerment. A place for people in West Louisville to finally have the opportunity for great resources and services, to restore and setting people and the captives free. So as I bless the building and do a prayer over today's this event, as we kick off to our new space, if you don't mind to join me in prayer. Almighty and eternal, divine, we thank you for this wonderful moment within our community, to be pleased and to dwell in this place. Now, God, we dedicate to your name and to bless us who have gathered here today. In place and also for ourselves to you this day, let this house and every part of this building be used to your glory. Oh, great divine, let it be your devoted service. Let it be your place where your presence dwell amongst here with the people, that services are provided for the people in the community. If it's through a Target ticket, from getting a meal to a cup of coffee, to financial classes, with all the resources that we provide here at Goodwill. God, allow that this building continue to be in your service. Bless every person that had a part of this project, the vision that is now built. God, we thank you for this day. Bless this place and forevermore, and let your will continue to be done. It's in your divine presence name that we say amen. Amen. Thank you.
I got a message last week from a lady who asked me, she said, how can I get tickets for your grand opening? It made me ask the question, maybe we should have sold tickets for this event. I think we could have done a little bit more fundraising to fill this place up. But in all seriousness, part of what we did do was launch a capital campaign to help pay for this building. And that campaign actually is still underway, but I want to acknowledge that there are a number of donors here who helped make this happen. You'll see the donor wall here in the back right now. It's pretty crowded, so you can't see it all. But there were 600 donors who contributed to this campaign to help make this happen. And I'm really excited and pleased that we've been able to bring so many people together to do good in this community. In addition to that, I'm also very thankful, and I want to pause for a second to acknowledge the fact that we had a special group of donors who helped make this building happen. You know, I'm very thankful for the folks like the Brown Foundation, the Jewish Heritage Foundation, and a number of others that have contributed to this work, Gaines Foundation, and some of our sponsors that we'll talk about here. But we launched an employee giving campaign to help pay for this building as well. And we asked our employees, many of whom are cash registers at the stores at Goodwill where you visit, the donor attendants at our stores where you visit, and we asked them to support the work that's happening right here at 28th and Broadway. And I'm so very proud to say that group of individuals gathered $180,000 to support this campaign. We raised a lot of money for this building, but I will tell you there's not a dollar I'm more proud to point to than that of those donors, those donations that came from our staff. And as I've been walking people through this space, they see this beautiful donor wall that is sponsored by our friends at the Louisville Community Foundation. And they see all of those wonderful names there, and they've asked the question over and over again, how can I get my name on that wall? Well, where's Andrew Gillette? Andrew, wave your hand. Andrew's our development director. See him. There's still more room on the donor wall. He can help you make that happen. And what I need you to be aware of is that when you make that donation to Goodwill, that it is going to a good cause, and not just this building. You know, we've committed ourselves at Goodwill to supporting what I call the hardest to serve job seekers in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And these are men and women who are not people who just lost a job and need to brush up their resume to get back into the workforce. These are people who have disabilities, addiction histories, criminal backgrounds, little to no education, little to no workforce experience, transportation challenges, childcare challenges. These are people in many cases who need intense workforce development services. And so when you make a donation to Goodwill, you are supporting those programs and services, and you're also, ladies and gentlemen, supporting people like Kai Carr. Kai, come and share your story with us.
Morning, everybody. Not nervous at all. My name is Kai Thomas Carr. My sobriety date is April the 21st, 2023. And upon awakening this morning, I made a deep and personal commitment to stay clean and sober just for today. On April the 20th, 2023, I was on the third floor of the Jefferson County Jail. I was at the prison jail segment of the cycle that had been going on in my life for 30 years. In 1993, I had just finished high school, was off to college, supporting myself, doing factory work, a little telemarketing. Drinking and drug use was already an everyday thing at that part of my life. But I didn't think I was an alcoholic or an addict because those people were the ones who lived up under bridges, were those ratty old copes. I wasn't one of them. As time went on, the fun got less and less, and the consequences got more and more serious and more frequent. This went on until school started to get into the way of my drinking and having fun. And I missed enough days of work and school to where they told me not to come back to either one. So now we're up to 1998. I have no job, no money, a drug and alcohol addiction that I'm still trying to convince myself and everybody around me that it's no big deal, I'm just still having fun. And a brand new daughter that has just entered into the world, who's looking at me for everything. Under the yoke of alcoholism and immaturity, and without the tools for responsible living, the all too common next step seemed a good idea. With no income and the progressive illness of addiction tightening its grips on me, I thought selling drugs was a good idea. It wasn't. Even though I consider myself one of the good guys, I learned the hard way that you can't walk in mud without getting dirty. And by dirty, I mean all of that dark side energy that comes with the drug lifestyle. I was physically, mentally, and spiritually sick, sliding further and further down the hole of criminality and alcohol and drug addiction, in spite of having a loving and nurturing family who constantly told me I was better than what I was doing. As the years passed and the cycle continued, I got to the point where I was so sick and broke down that the only relief that my alcoholism told me that more drugs was a good idea. It told me that the accumulation of money and things would lead me to some sense of happiness. Until eventually, I found myself once again in the back of a police car, starting that cycle all over again. But on April the 20th, 2023, something happened. While sitting in the jail, a guy came up to me and said, "Hey, I got something for us." You know what he meant. And to my surprise, no. I just said no. I said, "No, I'm good." But I wasn't good. I was tired. I was tired. At that moment, I was a little proud of myself for saying no, but I also was more alone than I'd ever been in my life. I was actually ostracized from the people in the jail because now they were suspicious of me. So now I was an outcast from the outcast. Kind of lonely. When people ask me, with God as my witness, not 2 days after, I was called into the hallway and interviewed for the Chance for Change drug program that's in the Louisville Metro Jail. I filled out the application months earlier, and only 2 days after I told the guy no, I was called. I was told I would never make it into the program, that it was overcrowded and there wasn't any room. But later that same day, I was placed in that A Chance for Change program. When people ask me where my road to sobriety began, I'm proud to tell them at the Chance for Change program in the Louisville Metro Jail. God bless that program. Thank God for that program. And this is where I met a man who helped me change my own life. And his name is Tom Saylor. Good guy. Good guy. Tom came into that jail every Thursday spreading his message, and his message was simple. It was that change is possible, that I just had to do something different. With Tom's help, I realized that every bad thing that has ever happened in my life has been directly or indirectly the cause or the result from drugs and alcohol, whether it was somebody else's use in the beginning and mine later on. In that program pod, I got connected to the AA literature, and I felt I was supported by the staff, the other inmates that was in there, but in the back of my mind, I knew that this was a safe place. And soon it was coming to an end. My release was coming in a few days. And then what? Back on the hamster wheel, back on the cycle. My anxiety level was through the roof, almost about as high as it is now. But everyone and everything I knew was connected to criminality and drug use, everything I knew. To make a long story short, I believed in Tom, and Tom believed in the Goodwill. Walking through the door to Goodwill, I was made to feel like I belonged there from the very beginning. And the work began immediately. From orientation to soft skills to the RISE program with ADS. And last but not least, I received my adult peer support certification to help others with addiction of drugs and alcohol. Let me add here that these classes were different than the other classes I've taken throughout my life. It seems like I would go to these other places, other programs, and I would learn how to write a resume for 3 months straight. Stuff that, what does writing a resume help for a guy that has absolutely no work history? What do I put on it? The RISE program, coupled with ADS, and that's Applied Digital Skills, taught me the ins and outs of Gmail, Microsoft Word, documents, how to create a spreadsheet, and so on. Not to mention, at the completion, I had a Republic Bank checking account, a $300 check to put in it, and a brand new Hewlett-Packard laptop. I love that laptop. And these are actual real world tools that you need to be connected. And that's the problem when you come out of these jails and these prisons or any of these institutions. When you come out of poverty, you feel disconnected. You're just disconnected. You don't feel part of the team. It's us against them. And that to me is the importance of peer support. Peer support is the catalyst, is the segue to let the guys who come from where I come from and the women who come from where I come from know that there are some people and they're not against you. The courtrooms don't hate you. The police don't hate you. The system doesn't hate you. But you have to get connected. You have to connect with society. You have to. My first sponsor told me, and that's Mr. Darrell Wells, who I'm forever grateful to. He told me that I must trust in God, clean house, and help people if I ever want to achieve long-term sobriety. And the only thing that I had to change is everything. I'm here to say that Goodwill is that place of change. And if you're ready and willing to do the work, thank God that the Goodwill now has even more doors open today. Thank you, God. Thank you, Goodwill. And I would also like to add in closing, I want to thank Circuit Court Judge Melissa Logan Bellows for her heart, her wisdom, and her courage. Thank y'all.
Well, I get to follow that. So I look around and look in this facility and think about Goodwill and our partners. And I say that together we will be more than the sum of our parts. My name is Hugh Hayden. I'm proud to serve as chair of the Goodwill board this year. I want to, before I begin, I want to recognize my colleagues, past and present, on the Goodwill board. I think most of them are up here, but those of you who are here, please identify yourself, raise your hand, and thank you. These people, each and every one of these people, have committed their time, their energy, their wisdom, and their expertise to support Goodwill's mission of providing pathways out of poverty. Significantly, to back up Devon's comments earlier, each and every one of them have also committed their financial resources to Goodwill and to this Opportunity Center. So thank you to each and every one of them. I'd like to particularly recognize former board chairs Dan Hall, Charlie Kane, and Jason Gronick. It was Dan who, as chair, really championed the idea that we needed to be in West Louisville. Dan pushed that, not just about accessibility, but that we needed to be a catalyst for development and growth in West Louisville. It was during Charlie's time as chair that we made the final commitment to carry out this project, put together the financing, and managed to assemble all the details. In Jason's time as chair, that we actually broke ground and managed the construction process. I'm proud to tell you that my timing was perfect. I came in and I get to cut the ribbon. When Dan brought up the idea of doing this, it was an easy decision to bring our services to West Louisville. And as important as that decision was, in my mind, the most important decision that our board or any nonprofit makes is who you hire as your staff. And I'm happy to tell you that our board has absolutely aced that decision. You already met Devon, our Chief External Affairs Officer. You'll hear from Rena, our Chief Operating Officer, and Mark Holman, our Chief Financial Officer, shortly. We have a staff that is exceptional from top to bottom. That staff is led by our CEO, Amy Luttrell. You'll hear from Amy shortly. Earlier today, we had a private ceremony where we dedicated this facility to Amy, and I invite you to take a look later on at a plaque back here on the wall that memorializes that dedication. Thank you, Amy, and thank you all the staff for your tremendous work and things you do, not just for Goodwill, but that work translates what you do for this community, what you do for the state. Thank you so much. You've heard and we'll hear more about our focus on helping to remove barriers that prevent people from escaping the cycle of poverty. These barriers take many different forms and impact people in different ways. What's important is that along with our partners, we're committed to a full range of services that help people achieve success, whether that is a first chance, a second chance, sometimes it's a third chance. It's whatever it takes, as many times as it takes, whatever that number is. With that mission clear, it's great to be able to introduce a person who knows that as we do, that it's not just the right thing to do to lift people up, but for Kentucky to achieve its potential, we need each and every one of the 50,000 or so people who are going to come through these doors every year to achieve success and reach their potential. We need that to happen. I'm happy to introduce a person who shares our commitment not only to West Louisville, but to all those throughout Kentucky. Our Governor, Andy Beshear.
Thank you all. That is really good for my self-esteem. Thank you. Folks, I got to start by saying, Kai, thank you for reminding us that second chances aren't just the right thing to do, they're what we are called to do. And I hope today that you know there's not an us versus them, it's all of us supporting and being so proud of you on your journey and what you're doing. Today is an incredible day. It's an exciting day. It's a day not just filled with hope, but progress. I think about the fact that we are sitting in a $50 million investment in West Louisville. How incredible is that? That just by building this building, just by doing right, Goodwill is also creating 200 new jobs in West Louisville in this building. And if you want to feel a lot of hope, when you add up the jobs here, the jobs at the Norton West Louisville Hospital, let's thank Norton for what they're doing right next door. You add on that big 300 plus job Stellar Snacks announcement, you add the mayor's announcement of MMY on top of that. In the last 2.5 years alone, we have announced more than 1,000 new jobs in West Louisville. And you deserve a whole lot more. So today is such an exciting day that I'm not here alone. I'm blessed that we have our First Lady, Brittany Beshear, joining us today, as well as our Lieutenant Governor, Jacqueline Coleman. Thank you for being here. Thank you to the entire Goodwill team. Steve, Amy, and Devon, I know you are really proud. Last year, Goodwill helped 3,000 Kentuckians find jobs. And that was before this Opportunity Center opened. That is 3,000 Kentuckians that are going to be able to provide for their family, that are going to be able to better their own lives. And we know when we get someone that good job, it just doesn't better their situation. It betters their kids' situation and their kids' situation. What we're doing here, what Goodwill is doing, is making intra-generational change. Change that will reverberate not just now, but through the decades. And how about the staff at Goodwill? My goodness, raising $180,000 to help build this facility. That just shows you how much they believe in their mission. That they don't just spend their time, get up day after day to give their very best. They even give their own dollars to make it happen. You look at this facility alone, like I said, 200 new jobs with an average salary of $60,000. Pretty special. And because it is opened, this center is going to serve 50,000 Kentuckians every single year. Talk about making major change. These are folks that need a hand up as they work to build a better future for themselves and their family. My faith teaches me the golden rule that we love our neighbor as ourselves. And the parable of the Good Samaritan that says everyone is our neighbor. No matter if they've fallen on hard times, no matter if this is their third, fourth, or 10th time trying, we are meant to provide that second, third, or 10th chance. It's what we're called on to do. And let me tell you, Goodwill is living out our collective faith and values today, and will every single day in this facility. So if you're struggling, there's a place for you to come. If you are looking for help, there are all these incredible organizations ready to help you. If you want to make life better for your kids or your grandkids, this center is going to be here, and the Goodwill team is going to be ready to greet you. They're going to love you, never judge you, and they are going to help you every step of the way. They're going to be here whether you're battling addiction or looking for second chance employment. And can we just take a moment to thank all the second chance employers out there giving that second chance to so many people. They'll be here if you're looking to earn your GED, or if you're ready to start classes at a college or at a trade school. They'll be here if you're not sure where to start, or if you need help with childcare or transportation and don't know where to go. In short, they're going to be here no matter your needs to try to give you that help that betters your life. That's the mission of Team Kentucky. And we know on this team together, we can meet any challenge, and we'll get through it, and we'll get through it together. And the Goodwill team won't be alone, because on this campus, they opened the door and invited more partners in than I think we've ever seen in a facility. Partners like big brothers, big sisters. Black Coffee, Kentuckiana Works, the Kentucky College of Barbering, Legal Aid Society, Park Community Credit Union, the University of Louisville College of Dentistry, Volunteers of America Mid-States, and the YMCA of Greater Louisville. This is so much hope in one area and so much opportunity. I think the chair said it exactly right. You know, what we've got going on in Kentucky right now means this is the best chance to get somebody into a good job, to provide that stability, to better provide for their families than at any point in our lifetime. Because when we look at our economy right now, we are on the biggest, best economic win streak in our history. Over $30 billion of new investment in Kentucky over the last 4 years, by far a record. 52,000 new jobs over the last 4 years. We're doing things that the world has never seen. We're building the 2 biggest battery plants on planet Earth, just south of Jefferson County. But to meet that workforce need, it just means we got to provide people a little more help. To do that, we got to make sure that everyone has health care. It's a basic human right, and building the first hospital in West Louisville in 150 years is going to help make that happen. You know, it's an incredibly exciting time. I mean, we were number 3 in economic development nationwide last year, number 2 the year before it. So we know that if we want to build that big, bright future for everyone, it requires us to invest. That's what you see here today at Goodwill. And that's what we need to see in this state budget. It is time to give our public school educators the big raise they deserve. That is incredibly important to building that bright future. And as we continue to invest and create jobs, we've got to make sure they come everywhere, and that more investment and that more jobs come to West Louisville. We've got to make sure we continue to make investments like that $10 million investment that's expanding Waterfront Park to West Louisville. It's more investments like the NIA Center next door to where there's a central location where people can get their services met. It's more investment like we've made in partnership with Simmons College, one of our proud HBCUs right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It's investments like the reopening of Elder Serve and the number of people that it helps. It's investments like the Patty's Run Flood Pump Station, which is going to create 500 additional jobs in this community. And it's partnerships like today. I am so proud of everybody who made it happen. I'm proud of the city of Louisville. Mayor, thank you for your investment in this facility and the leadership you're providing. And I'm really proud of our legislative leaders like Senator Gerald Neal, you're going to hear from in a minute. And Senator, let me just close by mentioning something that's on my heart that you see here today. As long as I'm governor, you will always hear the governor, Commonwealth of Kentucky, say he believes diversity is an asset. It ought to be celebrated. And if the rest of our General Assembly could see what's being done right here today, people coming together, believing our differences make us stronger, then we'd see some better legislation coming out of it. Thank you all. God bless. Oh my goodness, what an exciting day here in Louisville. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Governor Beshear. We appreciate you and everything that you do for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. My name is Amy Luttrell, and I have the absolute privilege to be the president and CEO for Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. And I'm going to be back up here in a few minutes to talk about this building and what we're going to do with this building. But what I'm going to do right now is just say a few things to introduce the mayor of our city, the mayor of Louisville. So this is a great building, and I just want you to know we did this project on faith. We started planning, and we planned to do a capital campaign. We planned to do a new markets tax credit. We planned to sell some property. We did plan to ask for some support for state and local government. But we didn't have any of that. We didn't have any of that at all. But we did have faith that we could do it, and I think there was good reason for that faith. When I come back up here in a few minutes, I'm going to talk some about Norton Healthcare, our sponsor for this campus. But right now, I want to talk about Metro Louisville government because they are our second largest donor, for a total of $5 million. We would not be here without both Norton Healthcare and Metro Louisville, and we really appreciate that. Mayor Greenberg, we are so grateful to you and to the Metro Council for that vote of confidence that you took in Goodwill, and we are going to make sure that you look back on that decision as one of the best investments that you have ever made in the city of Louisville. We commit to doing that. If you're on the Metro Council, would you please stand so we could recognize you? Thank you so much. And we're going to be wonderful stewards of your investment. And with that, I want to welcome to the podium Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg. Come on up, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Amy. Congratulations to the entire Goodwill team and to everyone that helped make this possible. You know, what I'm thinking is I'm looking at them on this amazing crowd celebrating this amazing accomplishment. Is that old 1980s song that many people in this room weren't even born to hear yet, but there was an old jingle when I was a kid, and it was called "Look What We Can Do, Louisville." Today shows what we can do as a city when we work together. Just look at this turnout. Look at this support for this amazing accomplishment. You just heard the governor talking about all of the great things that are starting to happen in West Louisville. You've heard about how Goodwill worked together in partnership. We in Metro government, the Metro Council, our administration is proud and honored to be here because this is an incredible and a historic day for West Louisville and for our entire city, because this represents a new chapter in the history of our city. For far too often, government and the private sector has overlooked West Louisville, has overlooked these 9 neighborhoods. And now, as we celebrate this center, we are saying to the entire city, to the entire state, to the entire country, that when we work together, great things can and will happen. This is a great example of working together in partnership with the private sector, the public sector, the nonprofit sector, and most importantly, in partnership with the people who live here in West Louisville, listening to what their needs are, what they want out of this center, out of Norton Hospital, out of the amazing Dare to Care project that's going to be happening across the street away. This is truly a transformational project for the people who are going to be served by all of the Goodwill services that are provided here and their partners. It's transformational for West Louisville, and it's transformational for our entire city. You can see what's starting to happen here in West Louisville. You can see the construction on the Norton Hospital. You can see what's happening a few blocks down on Broadway. And you heard what the governor was talking about, this great positive momentum. And I can tell you there is more yet to come. We are truly getting started. And we are truly getting started because Goodwill Opportunity Center has provided this spark. It is transformational and it is inspirational. Inspirational to me. It's inspirational to my colleagues on Metro Council. And it's inspirational to so many other organizations around the country, because when you think about what we're doing here and working together, we can do anything that we set our minds to here in Louisville. We can truly make our city safer, stronger, and healthier. We can continue to reduce gun violence. We can increase affordable housing. We can reduce homelessness. We can increase economic opportunities for people who live in West Louisville, for entrepreneurs in West Louisville, for people across the entire city. And when we work together in partnership like this, we can make big, bold things happen, like making universal pre-K a reality for all 3- and 4-year-olds across this entire city. So let's take today as a celebration. And tomorrow, let's continue to be inspired by what Goodwill has done. Let's continue to keep thinking big. Let's continue to keep working hard. And let's continue to keep working together to make things happen, to make West Louisville better, to make our entire city better, our entire state better. Because what we are showing here today, what Goodwill has shown, is that we are on the path to making our city and state safer, stronger, and healthier. Congratulations to Goodwill. Thanks to everyone who helped make this happen. And let's continue to transform our city. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you know that voting matters. We've got a big election coming up real soon, and many of us are paying attention to politics in ways that we haven't before. And that's why we at Goodwill have become very appreciative of the representation that we have for this project and the work that we do throughout the state. But right here in West Louisville, the corner of 28th and Broadway, it's the Senate District 33. And we've been very fortunate to be represented by a man who is fighting on our behalf right now in Frankfurt, who is making sure that the needs, the desires and the wants of West Louisville are heard throughout the hallways of Frankfurt by people who in many instances will never make it to this community. And so I'm pleased today to welcome to the stage our state senator representing us from District 33 here in West Louisville, Senator Gerald Neal. Won't you welcome?
Hello, Louisville. Man, if you can see what I'm looking at right now. My God, I was walking through this facility the other day. Devon took me through, and it was empty. There was no one in here but us walking through here. And I'm looking at you now, and you feeling every crack and crevice that's in here, and you look beautiful. Welcome, Louisville. Welcome, West Louisville. You know, I'm a native of West Louisville. I've lived in West Louisville all of my life, with the exception of going to college. And outside of that, maybe a few more years. But I'm proud of this community. I'm proud of the people in this community, and I want you to make no mistake about it. This is a community that is alive. It strives to do the best that it possibly can, and there's value and richness here. And just bringing this here right now, Goodwill Industries and Norton's, I got to tell you, is just an energizer. I am so excited I can barely stand it. Now, let me tell you, I bring you greetings from the Kentucky General Assembly, and particularly the Senate, in which I serve. But I got to tell you that every time we have an addition like this to the community, and particularly this addition to the community, I'm telling you, this is going to make a significant difference. So I want to welcome Goodwill Industries of Kentucky and welcome Norton Healthcare. What a powerful, intentional partnership. Goodwill Industries of Kentucky and Norton Healthcare, alongside, should be mentioned and has been mentioned, hope I don't miss anybody, pivotal community organizations such as Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Kentuckiana, Kentuckiana Works, Kentucky College of Barbering, Legal Aid Society, Park Community Credit Union, the YMCA Volunteers of America, and the University of Louisville School of Dentistry, and black coffee. That's important, black coffee, every morning. This is powerful. This is not just a walk in the park. This is powerful. It's powerful. This is also visionary. Just think about it. I did not know Dan Hall's role in this. Dan Hall, a personal thank you to you for that thought, and look what has happened, what has blossomed from that seed that you planted. But this is what comes when people come together and join together to make a difference. This is what happens when people of goodwill know that they're trying to uplift their fellow man and woman. This is what happened when hope is alive, and it's demonstrated in reality here. From the 2022 groundbreaking to this moment marks a new chapter. Yes, a new chapter for the Parkland neighborhood at 28th Street and Broadway. Disinvestment to reinvestment. Think about it. Disinvestment to reinvestment. The Opportunity Campus mission to contribute to the revitalization of West Louisville, serving its 65,000, is a watershed moment, make no doubt about it. The focus on addressing comprehensive needs of the community is pivotal. It is pivotal. The comprehensive nature of the Opportunity Campus, housing a variety of critical services and facilities that will significantly enhance the quality of life and economic opportunities for residents, is significant. The unique collaborative model that the community campus embodies demonstrates how nonprofit organizations can work together more efficiently and effectively to serve the community, making it easier for individuals to access a wide range of programs and services designed to foster self-sufficiency. The construction of this first comprehensive medical center in West Louisville in over 100 years, I heard the governor say 150 years, by Norton Healthcare is no small matter. This facility will address critical healthcare gaps in the community, offering services such as emergency room care, outpatient functions, and specialties in women's health, cardiology, and neurology. The expected creation of more than 200 jobs by Goodwill and its partners, with an additional 100 jobs through the Norton Healthcare Facility, will significantly impact local employment opportunities with competitive wages. The construction jobs generated and the 18.7 million annual contribution to the local economy through the Career Services Program will be impactful. This site moving from a brownfield area into a beacon of hope, from brownfield to hope, replacing a dilapidated industrial building with a vibrant campus that symbolizes community pride and optimism for a brighter future, is a transformative engine that will not only transform the physical makeup, but transform lives, equipping many with additional tools necessary for building self-sufficiency and prosperity. This is a dynamic model of what can be achieved when organizations unite with a visionary common goal of uplifting communities. So welcome, Goodwill Industries, welcome, Nortons, and welcome to you. Now, wait a minute. Everybody in this place is important. And I got to tell you, I got to take this back to Frankfurt. It's important that I do this. So I want everybody to get a real big smile on your face, because you're going to go back to Frankfurt with me. All right, what about a chair? Yes. Okay, now I want to do one other thing, because I think I want to mark this. I think it's important to do this. Would Steve, Amy, and Devon, would you come up, please? So I want to do something that, when we want to mark something that's really important, something that is, as I've said, transformative, something that I said uplifts communities and people, individuals. You heard the testimony when this began. I tell you, we could have stopped right there, quite frankly. But the fact of the matter is, the work goes on. So the Senate, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, I'm not going to read this all, but you know what it's about. To all to whom these presents shall come, greetings. Know ye that Goodwill Industries of Kentucky Opportunity Campus is recognized and honored upon the auspicious occasion of its ribbon cutting ceremony on this Wednesday, March 20th, 2024, celebrating the completion of this extraordinary project. It goes on to say all that it includes in terms of responsibilities in the shops and the opportunities that you have here. I'm not going to go through that, but it does say this: all those who avail themselves of its many services is important. Said honoree is offered sincere congratulations upon this noteworthy occasion, is extended best wishes for many future years of success and good fortune, and on my motion and passed by the Kentucky General Assembly, the Senate being specific, we want to present you with this certificate from the Senate. Thank you. Applaud these fine people. Thank you.
Let's thank again Senator Gerald Neal. He's on his way to Frankfurt to continue to fight for us, so we want to continue to lift him up as he does that work for us. For those of you who've been on this journey with us for a while, you've heard this story that I'm about to tell, and I promise that I will retire this story after today. But it's important that it be noted today that I started work at Goodwill on May 13th, 2019. And on May 14th, our CEO, Amy Luttrell, came into my office and asked me in my role at Goodwill to prioritize three things. One, she said she wanted to make sure that we worked very hard to raise the awareness, visibility, and credibility of Goodwill throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I think we've moved that needle. Two, she said she wanted us to open the very first high school for adults in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We've checked that box as well. And then she said, our board, Dan Hall, the members of our board, had a desire to see West Louisville, to see Goodwill operate in West Louisville. And she asked me to lead the charge in helping Goodwill find a home in West Louisville. And so I set out on this quest to identify a place where Goodwill might call home in West Louisville. And the first call that I made in order to help find a location for us was to my friend Scott Love. Where's Scott Love? Scott Love, stand up. Scott Love, we would not be here today if it were not for Scott Love. Scott Love pointed me in the direction of 28th and Broadway and said, that's where you need to go knock on the door. And I did, and when I came knocking on the door, Cypress Solutions, Tube Turns, many of you know them, they used to occupy this 20-acre campus that we now own. But when we knocked on the door, it did not look like this. It was a 400,000 square foot brownfield, dilapidated eyesore that stood on the corner of 28th and Broadway. And I will never forget when I looked at this and I saw what it could be. I was excited, and part of what you have to know is that I'm a West Louisville resident. I live in West Louisville. I was raised in West Louisville. This is home for me, and so I knew this corner, but I also knew the possibilities that could exist on this corner. And so I'll never forget, Mark Holman, our CFO, and I came through and we walked this campus and we talked to the owners. We went back to Amy Luttrell, our CEO, and presented this as an option for Goodwill. And what you have to remember is that it didn't look like this. It was ugly. It was brown. It was dirty. It was an eyesore. And many people had overlooked it. And I'll never forget sitting that proposal in front of Amy to take a look at this as an option for Goodwill. And she looked at it. She looked up at Mark. She looked up at me. And she said, I love it. I love it. And it's because of that vision that she had to embrace what could be, not what was, but what could be, that we are here now in the new reality that exists on the corner of 28th and Broadway. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome back to the stage our president and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Kentucky, Amy Luttrell.
Thank you, Devon. And I just want to go back and thank Kai. I don't know where Kai went to, but I told him when he was getting ready to come up here, you know, this crowd is going to be more interested in anything that you have to say than all the rest of us put together. And he did great, didn't he? And if you're just patient with a few more of us who have to speak, we're going to end this ceremony with the same kind of thing that we started it with. So I am going to talk with you a little bit, a few minutes about why we built this building and what we plan to do with it. But I want to do a couple of things first. And one of those things, the first thing I want to do is start by giving a great, big, lavish thank you to Norton Healthcare. So Russ Cox, I see you there, the Norton board, the whole Norton team. We didn't know that we needed you guys. You approached us, but we did need you to make this dream a reality. And we appreciate you so much. And we are really looking forward to being good neighbors with you when you get that big, beautiful building just to our south open a few months from now. So we'll all meet back here then, a few yards to the south, and celebrate that opening. So I want to ask you guys, there's a lot of us here, so I want you to help me. I want us to all say together, thank you, Norton Healthcare, on the count of three, okay? You ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Norton Healthcare. All right, and now you can clap. All right. You know, the other thing I want to do, is just say another word about our board. So our board chair, Hugh Hayden, talked about our board's roles, but I'm going to do what Devon did and quote a couple of dates here, just to give you a little perspective here. This has been part of our strategic plan for a number of years ago, and the board first approved the purchase of this property on March 6th, 2020. Okay, think about that date. By March 22nd, our 67 stores statewide were all closed. We had no revenue coming in. And what's more, we didn't have any idea when we would have revenue coming in, okay? So we went back to the board and they approved it, but we hadn't closed on the property yet. So we went back to the board and said, are you sure? And they said, yes, go ahead. So we bought this property on April 13th of 2020 when all of our stores were closed. And I think that is about all I need to say to demonstrate the depth of the commitment of our Goodwill Board of Directors. Please help me thank them one more time. So I do want to talk with you for a minute or two about what we're going to do in this building. We at Goodwill have committed ourselves to a goal of reducing the number of Kentuckians who live in poverty. Okay? We want to reduce the number of Kentuckians who live in poverty. That's simple to understand, not simple, not easy to do. It is a big goal. But we have every reason to believe that we can accomplish that goal, not by ourselves, but with the right partners. You know, in America, we spend a lot of money helping people survive poverty, right? And we need those services. We need Medicaid and food stamps and all those kinds of things. But this Opportunity Center is about something else. This Opportunity Center is about changing it up. And the reason why is because we have seen that for thousands of Kentuckians who live in poverty, something better is possible. And nobody really wants to have to get food stamps and Section 8 vouchers for housing unless they really have to, right? That's not anybody's first choice of a life they want to have. So our goal at Goodwill is not to help people survive poverty, but to help them actually reach that point in life that we all think of as the middle class, where we have enough money to meet our basic financial obligations, but we also have some additional money that gives us choices in our lives. We can decide where we want to live, we can decide where we want to work, what we want to do with our free time, and we can plan our futures. That's a life not of survival, but the kind of life that we all aspire to. And that's what we want everybody in Kentucky to have. So why do we think that that's possible? Because not everybody thinks that's possible. Getting out of poverty is very complicated and it's difficult to do. And in fact, we see a lot of people who are born into poverty who never even expect anything else in their lives. But we have found that thousands of our fellow Kentuckians who live in poverty are very capable and, even more importantly, highly motivated. And I'm not only talking about people who are maybe just living on the edge, just barely poor. I'm including, and maybe even especially, people with a lot of barriers. People who are living in our prisons, coming out of our prisons. People who are living in drug treatment agencies. Young people who don't have a family to take care of their needs. And people who are actually living on our streets in Louisville and throughout Kentucky. You know, I think a lot of times we don't expect much of people in those situations, and that's a mistake because they have a lot to offer our communities and they want to offer it. You know, in all my years in social services, I have never learned how to motivate another human being. But I have seen a lot of conditions and situations that demotivate people, things that sap the natural motivation that we all have to live a productive life. And I believe that the biggest demotivator in life is a lack of hope. You've heard some other people talk about hope this morning, and if you look around this campus, you see up here on the bridge, you see to your rear, you see outside in our parking lot, this phrase, hope happens here. But what does it really take to restore hope to people who really don't feel any hope? And there are a lot of them, our neighbors. We think that it takes at least two things. And the first is, it really means so much if we have somebody to walk beside us and help us over the rough spots. Somebody who cares about our success because they care about us. And many, many people, probably most, who come through our doors do not have that. They do not have a support system. And we all need a support system, don't we? No matter what our station in life or how old we are, we all still need a support system. And if we don't have it, life is pretty tough. So we think that's one ingredient of restoring hope. The second is we must have real answers.
Hey folks, I'm sorry. I know a lot of you all are watching this stream that's going on right now, but I need to switch over to another press conference that the mayor is having that just started about affordable housing. So thanks so much for joining us here, and I will be right back with another stream for you to watch.